start. Welcome to the Rotten Gore Movies Podcast. The special edition is the night of the Roundtable, specifically talking about creature features. So we're going to do a roundtable discussion about some of the greatest creature features out there. I have some special guests with me that I'll introduce in just a second. But first off, Mr. Tony the Dead was supposed to be on the show. He had to cancel at last minute, unfortunately, so he's not on the show tonight. Sorry about that, guys. If you're here for Tony, he's not here with us today. I mean, he's still alive, but he's not part of the show today. He's going to come on another time, he said. But we got our first guest here, Caleb from the Tapehead Massacre Podcast. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
You want to give a plug to your podcast or anything before we get started here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am one half of the Tapehead Massacre Podcast. We do weekly episodes where we review horror movies of all different subgenres and fun stuff. We have special guests on the show, usually about once or twice a month. And we have a strong community. We love our listeners, and we've been doing this for about a year now. So yeah. It's a fun time, and we love it.
Awesome. It's good to have you here. Let's bring out our next guest, Jadd the Film Critic. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, guys. How you doing? I'm good.
Good, man. Good. Yeah, excited to have you on. You want to give a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jadd, Jadd. Jadd. I'm the film critic. I'm on Facebook. You can just look me up as Jadd, 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 the Film Critic, and I will be launching my website in a few months. Nice. I'm on Facebook if you guys ever want to see my latest reviews. Working on some reviews right now, but yeah.
And I recommend his reviews. I pay attention to them for what movies come out. I always go to your page and I make sure if it's good or not. If you recommend it, then I go see it. So I do pay attention to your page, man. So it's nice to have you on. Real quick note before we jump on. I see we got some viewers in the chat, so say hello, chat. If you're watching, I see we got some people watching right now. Normally, John would be with me. He's going to try and come on. He's having really spotty Wi-Fi, so he may not be able to join the show tonight. So we got knocked down a couple pegs, but we're still here for the next of the Super Show. But it might just be us three for this roundtable discussion, which I think is fine. We are going to start talking about creature features. There we go. We got some people. Hello, Marco G. Nice to see you. Hello, Kelsey. Nice to have you here. Thanks for chiming in, guys. If you want to talk about creature features with us, please go ahead and just talk with us in the chat. What are your favorite creature features? Let's start with Jadd. Let's start with Jadd. I'm gonna go around last just because I'm so stuck on what I want to pick for my two favorites. So if they get talked about by you two first, then I'll take them off of mine. So yeah, let's start with Jadd. Some of your favorite creature features, or some of your fondest memories of creature features. What are they?
Well, I think it went back to Alien, and I think it was when Prometheus was coming out. And
what's up, Fat Samurai
Fat Samurai Guy?
What's up, dude?
It went back to Alien, and I remember being an Alien, watching that the atmosphere, the art design, the art direction, and all that just seeped into this movie. And then as I went on in later years, and Aliens helped a lot as well. And as later years went on, as I got more mature, I loved. I'm in love with the Universal monster movies.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I've always been in love with the Wolfman, and American Werewolf in London is just one of my favorite werewolf movies. It's like something like it's one of those atmospheric films you have to see more than I've seen it a few times in the perfect weather, and it's just especially with the first attack on the Moors. Holy shit! You will feel. I felt chills coming down my spine. Also because I didn't have the AC on at the time. But yeah, man, I really fucking and the Thing really just also, again, something you have to see in the perfect weather as well. But the Thing also had me on suspense and grossed out, but I was just enthralled with it. I'm like, I want to know more as well, and that's the beauty of John Carpenter. That's why that movie is his best film to me.
Yeah. Oh, you think The Thing is better than Halloween? You're saying, even?
You know what? There's like his top 5 best movies. I do like it more than Halloween mostly because I've seen The Thing more, and The Thing always is like who is it? And that's the beauty of that movie.
Yeah.
It's 1982. That's when it came out, and every time I watch it, I don't know who the killer is. I don't know who is The Thing has a host every time. Halloween, obviously, it's Michael Myers, and that movie has an impact for a reason, but it's just very I love it to death, but it's very standard with its structure, and I love Assault on Precinct 13. The brilliance of that movie and the setup of that movie is like the first 2 halves are the setup. The third act is the assault on the 13th is the assault on the prison. And that's a great slow burn, and one of great writing as well. I can go on for John Carpenter, but yeah, I'll leave it at
that.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me kind of thinking maybe The Thing is my favorite John Carpenter movie now. Like, it's very close for me with Halloween because Halloween is like widely regarded as the granddaddy of horror movies, right? We can all agree on that. Like, that's numero uno on most people's lists.
Oh yeah.
But I gotta think, man, The Thing is just a more rewatchable movie. It has the rewatchability factor for it because like every time I watch it, I've seen it at least 100 times, right? At least. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, when did this guy turn? I don't remember his death. It's like, and then I always try to pay attention. And I did this. I have another series on this channel called Tyler's First Time. My friend Tyler he doesn't really watch horror movies, never really has. Not because he's scared of them or anything. He just never got into them, and so. But he's my best friend, and I love horror. So I show him horror movies, and I put it on YouTube. I showed him The Thing for our very first episode, and he fell in love with it. He's like, "Dude, that was crazy!" Like, and I'm like, "Right." Like he did the same thing I did. He's like I'd watch that again and again and again, and I'd write down little things here and there about who was where when the thing was there, like, and try to figure out how they all got infected. It's like it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Yes, I am
better than Halloween.
Yeah, except for that. I don't know. I really don't know.
Dude, I'm stoked for it. I can't wait.
We'll have to see. I mean, that's a wait and see. There's a lot of reboots coming out.
So many.
A few this year, a few next year, and I'm a little nervous. We'll see what happens. But The Thing being one of them. So.
Hey, didn't you say your friend loves Scream and anticipated film? So what would you think of Scream 5?
Well, today on the podcast, he said that he was excited for it. So, and the reason he was saying that he was excited for it was that Neve Campbell agreed to do the 5th, rendition that's going to come out next year. And obviously, this is going to be the first Scream without Wes Craven.
Yep.
And she signing on, in his eyes, basically is like, if this isn't a Wes Craven film and she said yes, the script had to have been good enough for her to, 1, not ruin her reputation with the franchise, and 2, not, agree to be, kind of putting a bad name to a Wes Craven franchise.
Right.
Yeah. So
and Neve Campbell doesn't do just anything. She's not one of those actors who fizzled out and like just started doing anything and everything offered to her. Like she's very selective in what she does.
Yeah.
So like she's kept herself special in that way,
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was great in Like, and she's also she's also in my top 20 crushes I've had, and because of Scream, and it's also because she just has this subtlety to her. Like, she's also very, she has it all in the eyes. Like, her eyes are very expressive and says so much.
See you, Samurai. Have a good one. Thanks for popping in, man.
See you, man.
Popping in, buddy.
But yeah, it's all in her eyes as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so Caleb, what are some of your favorite creature features, or what are some of your creature feature moments that you love? What makes you love the genre of creature features?
So I would say it goes back to an early memory. Now, I'm not saying this is one of my favorites. It's on the list, but definitely one of like the earliest memories I have of watching a creature feature. I was probably about 6 or 7, and I had went over to a family friend with my dad, and we had rented Deep Blue Sea. And
I love that one.
It's a good one. And the cover alone, it has just like this like chilling image. I mean, it's I forget her name, but
Saffron Burrows.
There we go. Perfect. And she's on the cover, and you have this big fucking shark in the background.
Yep.
And it just makes the shark look so gigantic that I was already like worried about. And I remember the family friend's house that we went to, he had just got this like nice stereo set up with surround sound, and like the opening scene of that film, it's teenagers or whatever out on the water on a boat, and it gets fucked up and shark comes and kills them. There's a lot of bangs and booms. That was like one of my early entries into creature features, and it stuck with me for a long time. And I think that that's kind of what's fueled the fire throughout the years of like kind of seeking like good ones. And I feel like the creature feature subgenre is one that even when the films are bad, they're still good because they can, if they're bad, they have a level of humor to them. I mean, we have a Sharknado franchise, which is hilarious based on a name alone, but some of those movies actually turn out being pretty good in certain elements, whether it's, special effects or if it's just comedy in general. And then, there's just a lot of things that can be done. But in terms of my favorite, I've been thinking about it for several weeks now since this whole proposition of coming on the show was brought up. And it's definitely been a hard decision. It really has, because you can define a creature feature as many things.
Yes.
You can define you could even, if something has supernatural elements to it, it could almost be considered a creature. So like something like a Victor Crowley from like the Hatchet series, you know, while that's looked at as like a slasher, franchise, it could also be looked at as a creature feature because he died. So this is like a resurrection of, this like supernatural being, and that could kind of go into that, so it really made the decision even that much more harder for me. Yeah. Unfortunately. But I mean, I would have to go ahead and say that, and this might be just banking off of, what you guys were just talking about then and there. But I honestly, like, The Thing is it's got to be top 3 for me. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as you popped on and I saw you wearing the shirt, I was like, fuck. All right, cool. There we go.
Yep.
So, it's just because, honestly, like, even the remake that came out.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I mean, he's dead, so, and he's got a supernatural.
I would see it as a creature feature.
I think it would definitely. I think it could play into it.
It definitely could be, but you're really on like the edge of it being not a creature feature at the same time.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. By all means.
Yeah. But I think it's, if you those little diagrams, it's like the circles within a circle or whatever. It's like on the edge of one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
There's potential it could be a creature feature, but for me, a creature feature has to be something that was never human.
Never. Okay, I get you. Okay.
But then that contradicts my theory that werewolves are creatures because they are human at some points. But I consider a werewolf movie as creature feature, so it's like, well, no. So it's really hard for me to even define what a creature feature is. I go back and forth on it all the time. I can never decide what a creature feature really is versus what it's not. It's pretty open to interpretation, so I guess if you want to call Nightmare on Elm Street a creature feature, you could. I mean, he's definitely not human anymore, so he was a creature.
As they go on, shit gets more fucked up with the series. So like, there's more sadistic elements to Freddy Krueger himself, because, I mean, he can pretty much take shape of whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So,
especially like with New Nightmare, he was like some ancient demon, so like that for sure is a creature feature, right?
Sure, yeah.
New Nightmare is for sure a creature feature.
Yeah. I've only seen the original. I haven't seen the sequels. Mostly because I don't really believe it. Like, you see, someone with beloved as Halloween, and this is why I'm not a big fan of sequels or horror. Like, when it comes to a horror genre and there are sequels and reboots, I'm not a big fan of it. Because it really takes away the mythos of what you said before. And I want to, when you were talking about, and when the question asked, would you consider Nightmare on Elm Street a creature feature? I would, because Freddy Krueger, and I'm sorry this is going to get a little aggressive, like what I'm about to say might make some people uncomfortable, but he was a pedophile.
Yep.
Sure.
And they burned him alive for it. That alone makes you a creature. Michael Myers, yes, it's a slasher movie, but but a lot of times they consider him not a human at all. He's what the doctor says his eyes, his dead black eyes. And people consider him a creature. They call him a thing, the shadow.
The shape,
because he's just so detached from humanity.
Yeah, and then you come to find out in part 5 where there's like part 6, the curse of Michael Myers with Paul Rudd. That one has like the whole Thorn cult. And
the cult of Thorn, and it just gets so weird.
Really just crazy. But so on the topic of creature features, a really good one that is a true creature feature, which has a creature, is I saw 1970. I think it was 6 or 7, but it's a Peter Fonda film called Spasms. And
never heard of that one.
It's super cool. It was I saw it impulse buy a lot of tapes.
I do too.
If I know of the movie, and I know it has a good rep, I'll pick it up for that reason. But then, like, if I'm just like skimming through something, if I'm like out in the wild or I see somebody in one of the millions of groups on Facebook post some cool stuff, if the release, like for instance, like media or Vestron, there's like release companies and production companies that I follow that I'll try to like keep a collection of. But this one just had a crazy cover, and that's another thing that like draws me in. I'm like, that's got a cool cover. If the movie's a bust, I'll get rid of it, but that's I take that chance. I'm like, I'll sell it if it sucks, and I'll keep it if it's actually cool. And this one has a really, really sweet looking cover, and I picked it up because of that. Wound up popping it in. It is a basically the whole thing is there's a genetic mutation, like lab sequence type deal done wrong on a snake, and there's like voodoo elements that happen with it, and it's just like this giant, like huge fucking snake. And what's cool is that they save the big reveal till the end, so you don't really ever see this. You get a couple like POV shots of the snake and like it killing people, but like you never actually get to see its like size. And for being 70s, or it could have been early 80s, I'm gonna have to just triple check on that. But special effects were pretty good. I was like, shit, this looks good. I mean, all the gore in it's like really tasteful. The storyline's actually really good. There's like comedic elements in there, like drips and drabs, but nonetheless, it was really fucking good. Mm-hmm. Oh, and when the snake bites you, your body starts to like swell, almost as if like the Blob kind of deal.
Oh, and,
like the limb will start getting like super swollen and then explode.
The Blob's another good shout for a creature feature too.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that one. What do you feel is the funniest creature feature, either intentionally or unintentionally? Oh, that's a hard one. Funniest creature feature.
Feel is the funniest creature feature, either intentionally or unintentionally.
That's a tough one.
Funny creature features.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a ton, but I'm trying to think of one. There's so many, but I can't think. You know what? I'm gonna have to go with brain damage. Brain damage is probably the funniest. Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a super sweet cover, and it's an HBO release, so I collect these. So that was another like win-win. But yeah, definitely a fun cover. So had to scoop that up. But yeah, it's let's see, I'll get you the exact year on her. But unintentional or intentional. I mean, I feel like the Sharknadoes were to be intentionally funny, and they nailed it. You know, and that's just something as of recent. But like, honestly, any '90s to early 2000s, like not major motion picture creature feature, definitely has a level of comedy to it. Because if the budget wasn't like high enough to have like proper special effects, because like 90s and 2000s is where you start losing that like practical effects and they start getting into the CGI, and early CGI, if it was not done right, is bad. So like a lot of the creature features relied on this like bad CGI, and like it's a lot of them become funny when it's like all this tension is built to this creature, and then you see it and you're like, that looks like shit. You know.
Yeah, Leprechaun's a good shout for a funny creature feature.
Yeah, definitely a good creature. Leprechaun's a good one, and I feel like
that's actually a really good one too. I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. The first one's like serious, and then obviously they turn into comedy.
Yeah. Did you guys ever check out Leprechaun Returns? That was the newest one.
Yeah, it was good.
That was actually a really fun movie, and it was funny. So I think that one's pretty high up there for me. That's probably my second favorite of the whole Leprechaun franchise was Leprechaun Returns. So good. I love that director though. He actually directed The Void and Psycho Goreman. So I was excited that he was doing a Leprechaun movie, and it turned out just as good as I wanted it to be. And I can't wait to see what that director does next. Psycho Goreman, right there. That's a funny creature feature. Yeah. That's mine. That's my number one. That's the funniest creature feature ever made. Okay. Psycho Goreman. I loved it.
For me, I think like I like the movie, but It Chapter 2.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it can take itself too seriously, but then when you have them saying, but at the end, when like the only thing that can kill Pennywise is tell him how much he sucks.
Yeah, that really lost me.
Into a little ball. It's a little laughable thing. And it's like, you suck, you're a shitty clown. And then he's like this mosh thing of a head. And he's like, you're a little grown up. But I know people had that, like, it was unintentionally funny when he did that. And like, I think most of Stephen King's stuff is unintentionally funny. I mean,
oh my God.
I think something like Maximum Overdrive and
well, he was all coked out for that one.
Yeah.
Relic. I'd never seen Relic.
Relic. That's
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Pet Sematary versus Cujo. Pet Sematary for me.
Yeah. Pet Sematary is more creepier.
Cujo's fine. But I love Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary. I'm gonna have to go with Pet Sematary. Cujo for me. I don't know. I've never found dogs scary. So anytime there's anytime there's just like, I mean, there's not really that many, but like I guess the Resident Evil dogs. Those can kind of be a little intimidating, like the infected Dobermans.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're not gonna really. It's not gonna. I don't know. A killer dog. It's just interesting.
No. Cujo didn't do much for me. It just
Hulk dog. Those are very scary.
Say again.
Yeah, you chopped out a little bit.
What about the Hulk dogs? They seem pretty scary. Ang Lee's Hulk.
Never seen it.
You guys hear me? Or am I
again?
You're fine now.
You've never seen Ang Lee's Hulk. Okay, so okay. So in Ang Lee's Hulk, he has like these dogs that are supposed to be scary, but they're really stupid and not threatening in the least.
That's funny. So I mean, that's where it backfires.
Yeah.
But, I would say Pet Sematary is definitely over Cujo for sure.
Yeah. Like Cujo's a fine movie. It's. I feel like on a technical level, Cujo's probably a well-made movie. Like, it's better filmed and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably some better acting, too. But there's something about Pet Sematary that always makes me go back to it at least once a year. I always watch Pet Sematary. Like, something brings me back to it all the time where it's just, I enjoy it more. Not that I think it's any scarier or less scary than Cujo. It's just, there's something special about Pet Sematary. I don't know what it is for me.
The song.
Dude, yeah, that song rocks.
It sucks me in every time. And even in
that
in the
Ramones
remake,
song, right?
Yeah, the Ramones song. But even in the remake of the film, there was I forget the band now, but it was like a female-fronted band, and they covered the song, and I was like, man, this song's fucking sick. So good. But
here's a good shout. Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, so that's definitely that's another good creature feature, and that lasted into a franchise. I think there's 6 parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I hope that's one they never touched to remake though, because for me that's one of the very few perfect movies out there. Like that was actually one I was going to talk about for my picks. Was Pumpkinhead, because I think Pumpkinhead is so atmospheric. The creature design is so iconic. You have Lance Henriksen in it. I mean, and he does amazing in everything he's in. No matter how shitty the movie is, he's always the best part of everything that he's in. And so, like, you have a Stan Winston creature in Pumpkinhead, right? Stan Winston did to Pumpkinhead, right? If I'm not mistaken. And so you have that, like, combined with Lance Henriksen in the spooky, like, woods. It's like orange and blue lights. It's just like, it's so
honestly, the first one is a beautiful movie.
It's so
shot
great,
so well.
Yeah, I love Pumpkinhead.
That.
I guess I'll take some that haven't been taken. So I like the thing. I was going to talk about the thing. I'm obviously wearing the shirt, but you and Jadd already kind of talked about that one a little bit. And Pumpkinhead was one we just talked on, which another one I was going to talk about. But for some that we haven't brought up yet, I've got to go with The Descent.
Great
I thought The Descent was that was such an effective movie on so many levels. Like you had like the claustrophobia of it. You had the tragedy in the beginning with the girl's husband. In the first like 10 minutes, and her child, and then you have these creatures in that these like cave dwelling creatures, and you have like the nighttime thing where they can't see, and it's just then you got to think about, well, not only do we have to escape these monsters, but we have to get out of this fucking cave because no one knows where we are.
Yeah.
And the creature design is phenomenal on them. Like
beautiful work,
I never saw anything like that. They're obviously played by humans. It's practical effects, but you would not tell it's a human underneath that suit. It's so well done. So I gotta say The Descent is a really high up there for me in creature features for more recent stuff. But if anybody is watching that watches my channel on a regular basis, my number one has got to be Creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean,
I love
it's the original creature feature. That creature design still holds up so well. He's such an iconic look to him. I watched that movie just like 2 weeks ago again. It's one of my comfort movies. I can put it on anytime and watch it, and I can just enjoy it, or I can play on my phone for a little bit and come back to the movie and just soak up everything about it. Like, I've seen it so many times now that I don't need to pay attention anymore. I just know what's happening. know? So I mean I have such an obsession with Creature of the Black Lagoon. The Gill Man he's inspired a lot of other work too, like the Shape of Water creature. I feel was heavily influenced by him. And then in Hellboy, I forget his name, Abe, I believe.
There's like a sidekick in the Hellboy series. Thank you.
Him. I feel like he is a lot derived. I mean, any human sea creature, kind of mammal or animal creature, whatever. You can see the Gill Man in it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's got to be the top.
Yeah, especially when you get Doug Jones to do it.
Yeah. I would love to see a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake. I would love that.
It's odd that a lot of the Universal monster movies have had remakes, and Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy. Even though The Mummy wasn't really true to the Universal one, but still, they've pretty much all been redone. Creature really hasn't. I mean, there's been derivatives of a Gill Man, but there hasn't been an actual true remake, which is odd to think about.
I know, and I feel like it's one of the most iconic of the Universal monster movies.
There could be some rights. There could be some rights issues there. Yeah. I mean, especially since all the rest of them got touched. I mean, there was all kinds of spin-offs for Frankenstein. I mean, holy shit. There's, they're still coming out with stuff. There was one that came out a couple of years ago that was not half bad, but that's one that just keeps getting milked. Dracula, there was a bunch of those, and pretty much every director, art house director that was Italians, they had their Giallo style, Dracula, everyone had their intake of it, and nothing for Creature though. That's so strange. I've never really thought about that, but maybe there's some rights issues.
That has to be it, because there's no way you're just not remaking that movie, or doing something with that property, I believe there was 2 sequels, Revenge of the Creature, and I believe there was a third one. I can't remember what it's called, but I have the first 2 on tape. Yeah. But I believe there was a third Creature Black Lagoon made.
I think you're right.
Yeah. For me, when you were talking about they've remaked everything, I think the most decent remake they've done is The Invisible Man.
Oh, that was a great one.
If you look at the Claude Rains one, the one that came out, and if you look at the one that came out a few years, 2 years ago, it's still they still pay homage to the original Man, except he's not as destructive as Claude Rains was. And speaking of Claude Rains, have you guys seen the Phantom of the Opera, the one that he was in?
Was that the? I'm trying to think which one that was. I
don't think so.
It's not like the. It's not like the musical, the Andrew Lloyd Webber shit.
Yeah, you're talking about the one with Robert Englund?
No, I'm talking about the one with Claude Rains. It's actually considered part of the Universal Monster films.
He's
basically like a musician that gets screwed over and he gets acid thrown in his face. And basically he has one bad day.
I have seen that. Yeah, I have. I don't know why I said I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen it. That's a good one.
Here's seeing the cover. I don't think I have seen it, but I've definitely seen this cover a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid one.
So Freddy Krueger, that is a really good one. But back to the I'm sorry. Let me backtrack to the Creature of the Black Lagoon. I think because I love that movie. That's my third favorite of the Universal monsters. For me, I just find it very. Now that it's just a lot more. You feel so much more for the creature than you do for the humans. The humans are such jackasses, and you really want them to get you really want them to get killed off. So when he is done in Shape of Water, and I fucking love that movie. I felt okay. Now this is the respect that he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, he's not being killed. It's actually a beautiful love story. So I think that's one of the things about Guillermo del Toro is that he takes. If you look at his movies like Pan's Labyrinth, Shape of Water, and even the Hellboy films, the way that no one sees creatures the way that he does. He has this unique taste to it. This unique.
Yeah, Del Toro definitely has a special touch on. Especially creatures he does, and deep characters. He make in horror movies it's horrible for character development. That I'd say horror is probably the worst genre out there if you're looking for character development. But Del Toro
part,
really has ways of giving characters in horror movies. Well, he does like his type of horror movies, I should say. They're not strictly horror, but they have horror elements. Like horror fantasy or whatever you want to call it. There's always horror elements to it. Yeah, he was scary, but he even made the humans interesting. Like he brought something to them where all of his movies feel like they're lived in environments already. Like those movies have been lived in for a while before they made it, so that they're totally fleshed out. So I really love anything Del Toro does. The only Del Toro movie I haven't seen is Mimic. I never saw Mimic, and I haven't seen Crimson Peak yet. But I've seen all the other movies, and I love them all.
Yeah. I like Crimson Peak. It's more of a love story than anything.
Oh,
and the horror is second. But I want to see Mimic and what's the first movie he did? What was The Devil's Backbone?
Devil's Backbone is fantastic. It's so good. Gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely on my watch list. But if you've heard him talk about Mimic, like behind the scenes footage, not only is he funny, but he really brings to light some shade on the Weinstein brothers, like Harvey Weinstein. It's like he's like I can't remember what he said word for word, but he's like, I would rather pay for my father's kidnapper than work with the Harvey Weinstein. And that shit. God damn it! I'm like, this guy, and like if you see him in interviews, he's just a funny guy. Yeah. He likes the weirdest shit, but he's so funny.
Yeah, agreed.
And good. I have Mimic. I just need to check it out.
Oh, Mimic's great. Yeah, and then Blade 2 is. I love the Blade franchise.
Yeah, dude, Blade 2 rocks.
That's a good one.
Underrated.
I like more than the original.
I do too.
I can agree with you on that.
I agree. Yep. It's a way more fun movie for sure. Blade 2 is better.
Yeah,
it was a lot crazier. That's for sure.
Yeah. So we've gone through around the table once already. Yeah.
Shit.
Which he also used for The Strain.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, The Strain had like those vampires with the flower mouths too, which is. I believe.
True. Okay.
Yeah. He did that for The Strain too. But we've gone around the table once talking about some of our favorites. Let's talk about maybe ones that we don't like or some hidden gems. Do you have any for you, Jadd? Oh, I think he's frozen.
Talked about this movie often, and am I?
Oh, you're back now.
Can you hear me now? Okay, cool. A hidden gem, and I was talking about this with you guys. What's it called? I was just thinking of it just now. An American Werewolf in London. Like that is a movie that a lot of people don't talk about. It's something it's weird, but not too weird. And it's something that a lot of people don't consider as a great werewolf movie. Like the werewolf, like the Wolfman, Lon Chaney's Wolfman, it's probably one of the best interpretations of the story that I've seen. And I enjoyed the remake, but it's not a great film. But American Werewolf in London has one of those things where you can go back. Like it has comedy. Like that's the way that it weaves in comedy and the way that it goes in and out of being a supernatural and going to a comedy and being a drama and a love story. It juggles so many things, but it does it so well. And I'm trying to think of a creature feature that does that, and they don't really work out that well. And that's only because John Landis really really made it work. And the design of the werewolf is absolutely frightening. You just hear it and you shit yourself. It has a very distinct howl, and all its sounds are very distinct and unearthly. Its design is rapid and vengeful. It's just one of those films you really gotta go back and watch. And the love story, I didn't think I would get into it, but I really got into it. And if you heard the BBC audio, because they actually did a BBC drama audio drama, and it actually did a great job of filling in the gaps of the escaped convict and the things in between. I'm like, holy shit, this is really good writing. I highly check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's cool.
I have it on DVD. I have it on Blu-ray. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's a banger. That's a banger for sure. I do.
It's a great movie.
I think it has the best werewolf transformation, and I know that's it's a back and forth between that and The Howling for a lot of people. But I think London. I think it has the better one just because there's not a lot of cutting in the actual transformation. It's kind of just like one angle, and like you just like the morphing and practical effects used in that are really well. And it's not to downgrade The Howling at all because that transformation is beautiful as well. But you get fast forward into like a more modern werewolf movie of something like Underworld, and like you obviously know that like those transformations are solely CGI.
Yeah.
So, and it's like unfortunate. Yeah, it looks good. You know, it's awesome. But then you compare it to, you compare it to like the old, American Werewolf in London and The Howling, and you're like, those were practical effects. That's not computerized or anything like that. Where like these, it's CGI. Like, sure, you give the guy that sat there at the computer and concocted the sequence of events to happen. Like, you give him props. Sure, it's a good job. But like, nah, Savini, like Tom Savini, like I know he's not, the werewolf guy or anything, but I know that like for him, like practical effects were like always, there you go. And but it's like your practical effects like mean so much to me that I think that's why I stay in the past a lot of the times with a lot of the films that I watch, and I stick to the 80s a lot of the time because the 80s was just like so pushy with a lot of just like over the top like sequences to happen, whether it be like gore or just like shocking shit, like they were really trying to like shock you in the 80s. It's like the golden era of horror in my opinion.
And they throw in like the weirdest stuff in the 80s too, like the weirdest plots would get turned into major motion pictures. It's like you don't see stuff like that today. All this stuff, a lot of the horror movies now, I mean, there's some good ones here and there, like we said, like The Lighthouse and all that, like, and even Psycho Goreman was a fun one. That's a weird one. Like, there's still stuff that pops up that's really good, but I mean, back in the 80s, every other horror movie was something completely different. Like, you think of House, 976 Evil, you think of fucking American Werewolf in London, you think of fucking, all these different movies, and they all had such crazy ideas. Especially, like, one that I just watched recently was House.
Oh, so good.
I just saw that like a month ago for the first time, and I was like, dude, that was amazing, and nothing like that will ever be made again. Like,
absolutely. Ever. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
actually, hold on, I'll put some light on, but House is one of my all-time favorites, and let me get this thing on here.
And plus, the 80s had a lot more of had a lot more freedom than they do today, with ratings and offending the children, and when you mentioned
that's House, the soundtrack for 1 and 2 up there.
Oh, nice.
You know what? Cool.
Yeah, are you thinking of Marco? Are you thinking of the codpiece gun? Because that's what I always think of when I think of Savini from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I was actually just talking about that movie last night and today, actually, on our
That's a
show.
great one.
It's such a fun movie.
Yeah, dude. I remember I went into that movie completely blind. I had no idea what it was about. I just put it on one day. And I thought, I was like, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. It's a heist movie. This is cool.
Yeah, right.
And then it got to this, like, I honest to God had no idea what was going to happen once they got to that bar, the strip club or whatever. And then they started turning into vampires. And I was just as shocked as the characters were. I was like, what the what is this movie?
Yeah.
And two things that disgusted me in that scene sequence. One, the foot thing. Ew.
Yeah.
That's Tarantino for you.
Second,
Tarantino likes feet.
That is, oh God! Once upon a time, there's such I could almost smell it. It made me want to throw up.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't want to feel feet.
You can't beat whiskey off feet, man.
God damn it.
Yeah, that's rough.
that was the gross thing. But like the transformations, even though I believe they were CG, it was still creepy. And you made like Selma Hayek. I think everyone knew how Selma Hayek was after that, or they knew her before that.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. That's what put her on the map.
That
sure.
Yeah,
yeah. But I would never get over that. Like I only got that far into the movie, and then I turned it off because I was actually really freaked out by it because it was really creepy. Those transformations and the way they fought and the way that they moved. I'm like, it's very I've never seen anything like that since Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
In Dracula, I'm trying to think of Bela Lugosi. No one can top him. Christopher Lee comes close, but come on, it's like Bela Lugosi. No one can top him. That accent.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have like Robert Rodriguez who does From Dusk Till Dawn, and I mean, like, you know, he did El Mariachi and Desperado, and it's funny because
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids, yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of why you see the reoccurring people he uses in a lot of films, you know,
like Cheech
and like all of them, Cheech, a lot of them, yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, I think it's funny because you watch all his other films and then you watch this, and you know he's a big Tarantino fan.
Yeah.
You watch this is a fucking From Dusk Till Dawn is a Tarantino film, like it is 100%. Like it's just like. He basically Tarantino's the producer on this. He's not the director, but like you just know that, like, you know,
he had a heavy hand in that movie.
It basically he was like, we should do this, and then Rodriguez was just absolutely.
It's like Tobe Hooper and Steven Spielberg on Poltergeist. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's Poltergeist is really a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy. I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess, Caleb, do you have any like hidden gems for creature features?
Hidden gems for creature features. So I would go back to saying Spasms, definitely a hidden gem. But let's see some creature features that are a hidden gem. I would say Planet Terror was great.
It was great, phenomenal. But I like both the Grindhouse movies. They're both phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I agree.
I'm not really into the Grindhouse thing.
Let's see. I would say a slept on. Okay, so maybe it's not too slept on, but it was actually really good for a sequel, especially one like so far down the line. But Deep Blue Sea 3. That one,
honestly,
really
not
good.
bad.
Yeah, I thought it was well done. I mean, there's some like crazy shit that happens in that.
Yeah, and the sharks actually look pretty good in it. They
do. I mean, you have like the bigger blockbuster that came out right around the same time of The Meg.
Yep.
And I thought that was good. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought the storyline was like a little like you know, but I mean that's like Jason Statham. So I mean it just that felt just like any other Statham film, you know. Slither, definitely a good hidden gem.
That's a hidden gem.
For sure.
That was one I was going to bring up, actually. I'm glad you brought it up, so I didn't have to. Yeah, Slither's fantastic.
Well, we were talking Stephen King for a minute, and you know, Stephen King for me has always been hit or miss, and when he misses, he misses big. Yeah. And a big miss that he did for a creature feature was the Langoliers, which was the same deal as like which was like a TV release series thing, and it was like these things from outer space came down, and they were just giant mouths with teeth that just ate the existence. Like, that's all that you could explain it. They were just eating existence because the final scene is like a plane taking off and the world just disappears because these things are just eating it. I don't know. It was just like, oh, it's so bad. And,
that was a bad one.
So, I mean, definitely not a gem, but maybe not
a great one.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta say, for hidden gems, one that hasn't been brought up yet, and I don't know if it's really slept on, but just no one really thinks of it as a horror movie more than a comedy or a kids movie. But I love it to death, and it was actually in the intro for this video. But Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh my god, my favorite.
Oh, okay,
dude, it's fantastic. I love the design of the troll. What is his? I'm trying to think of his name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yep.
I can't remember it at this moment, but Yeah, I love that movie so much. It scared me as a kid to death. I was like, that scene where that little girl's in bed and she looks under her bed to see if there's anything, and then she goes, "Oh, okay, good." And then she hears a voice, so she turns over in her bed, and it's the big troll laying in bed with her.
Yeah, so it's such a good scene.
It gets me every time.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of troll movies out there. And so it's like, that's really the only major
aside
one.
From Troll.
From Troll.
Yeah.
And you can't even count Troll 2 because that's goblins.
Sure, yeah, very true.
You know what?
You know what? Go ahead, Jadd.
Oh, I was going to say, so you can't think of one that was actually scary for kids, what wasn't scary for kids, and terrifying for adults, was that shitty animated Trolls movie. That alone was terrifying.
Yeah.
It made me want to squish them.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that could be scary. For sure.
For adults,
one that we haven't mentioned at all yet, that's really good. Yeah, RP. But one that we haven't mentioned at all that I'm going to retract my statement of the thing being, I technically didn't give a all-time favorite, but I can officially give an all-time favorite right now, Night of the Creeps.
Yep.
That is...
I was waiting for that to come up.
It's so fucking good, and I just watched it, rewatched it for like the first time in a long time the other day, and it's just so good. It's just so good. It's such a fun, funny, gory, crazy movie, and it's I don't know, it's good, and like that could be a hidden gem, and it's up there on my list. Probably my favorite creature feature.
Oh, you know what? I actually can't think of one that was actually. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying Tom Atkins at his finest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tom Atkins rocks in everything he does. He's one of my favorite horror actors of all time. Some honorable mentions real quick are I'm surprised I haven't got brought up yet, is The Blob. We haven't talked about The Blob at all. I was just gonna say it. Basket Case. Yeah, Belial, man. Basket Case and Basket Case 2 are fantastic. I have not seen the third one yet, but I love the first two. The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
that's a creature feature.
Yeah,
that's a phenomenal movie. But for a hidden gem for me is Brain Damage, I think.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah,
great one.
With Elmer, the little parasitic brain thing. He gives you the brain juice, gets you all trippy high, and then he devours people for using your body. It's like it's such a. I mean, that's the epitome of a creature feature. I mean, he is a little creature. I mean, he's a parasitic creature. You need him and he needs you. To sustain. So once he attaches to you, it's game over. I mean, it's a funny movie too. It's a funny movie, and the effects aren't that great. Elmer kind of looks like shit, but you can kind of forgive it for the time period,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just a really fun movie. It's one I really enjoy. I actually have it somewhere, right here.
Nice.
Phenomenal movie.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
But yeah, I think I've pretty much named off of all my. Oh, and Jeepers Creepers. No one said Jeepers Creepers yet, and that movie is amazing.
And we have another one coming out.
Yes, I can't wait for it either. It's gonna be amazing.
It should be good.
I hated the third one, but I'm excited for the fourth one.
Okay. For me, have you guys ever seen Peter Jackson's earlier films before he did Lord of the Rings?
Yep, like Dead Alive,
like Dead Alive or Brain Dead.
Yep.
Yeah. Dead Alive.
There was one that he did that not a lot of people. Yeah, I still need to see those because those are I'm a huge Peter Jackson fan, and I fucking adore Lord of the Rings, and it's just one of those movies.
Splinter is good.
Splinter. I need to look at that up too.
Splinter's fantastic.
It's like really one thing. Oh, I need to look. Yeah, I need to look up that and the P. Jackson's earlier films. They're not available. I don't know where they. I'm looking for them, but I don't know if they're available on Blu-ray. But if you guys have seen The Frighteners, I love that type of a story.
Frighteners is really good.
Yeah, a lot of people don't mention that. movie when they talk about.
Argento.
I know it's not a
Demons.
creature feature, but it's a ghost story, and I really like that.
Argento, for as far as Argento creature features, there was an episode of Masters of Horror that Dario Argento did. I believe it was called Jennifer. That is a creature feature, and that is on Tubi. So if you haven't seen that, go to Tubi. It's a free app. There's tons of free movies in there. All the Masters of Horror seasons on there. Check out Masters of Horror. Look for the title or the episode titled Jennifer. That's the Argento one. It's really solid. That's a great creature feature. Demons, maybe.
I was gonna say
the other
Demons.
one.
Yeah, Demons. The other ones. I mean, that's that's his film. He wrote Demons. I mean, Lamberto Bava is the director of that, but still, that's an Argento piece.
Yeah. What's up, Poor Devil 333?
Howdy, hey.
He checks out a lot of my VHS Spigots video, so it's good to see him in here.
Oh, very cool. Hell yeah. Welcome.
Yeah. So, do we have... Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, saw Jennifer a long time ago, thank you. Yeah. Yep, okay. Yeah. I was hoping to give you one you haven't seen yet, but I don't know. I don't know if he did a ton of creature features, so that's kind of...
One that was really good, that's... I believe it's an M. Night film, if I'm not mistaken. The Mist. That's a really good creature feature.
That is Frank Darabont.
He didn't do The Mist?
Yeah.
Nope.
I remember
Frank Darabont did it.
That's right. I don't know why I'm thinking M.
No,
Night.
that was Frank Darabont.
Yeah, Frank Darabont.
No, you know
He's
why
done
I'm
a couple
thinking M.
Stephen King
Night?
movies.
I'm thinking of The Happening. That's why, because I was talking about The Happening earlier, which is not a creature feature.
No. Well, maybe. Kind of. It's kind of a creature feature.
Something's happening.
It could be. I mean, Earth is against them.
Yeah. Pretty much, yes. I mean, but The Mist was crazy. Absolutely crazy. So that's a good one. I mean, there's.
Yeah.
I think the thing with creature features is. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have cut it like that. Sorry, you should go.
Oh no, you're good. There's definitely a delay here a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's that. No, you're fine. You're fine. No, it's all good. There's just definitely a delay a little bit. So, but yeah. What were you gonna say?
All right. I was gonna say I saw that movie when I was a lot younger. Like I'm 26, but I saw that movie when I was quite young, and it scared the shit out of me, especially with the tentacles with teeth, and the crazy religious lady who Gein's shot was the best thing in the world. But yeah, I remember watching that movie and thinking, God damn, I've never seen anything like this at that time. Because this the way that the creature, the concept alone is frightening. You're stuck in a supermarket and you have to bore yourself up with people who are more dangerous on the inside than outside. Outside is terrible, but inside is worse.
Yeah. That's a really heavy movie, and then you get that ending, dude. Man, it just rocks your world. It's like, damn, dude. And even everything leading up to that point is just really well done in every aspect. That's one of my all-time favorite movies too. Especially if I'm talking about more modern movies. That's really high up there. Just because all the character work is the creatures are very cool, but it's really the character work that brings that movie to make it so phenomenal. It's just good. So I'm glad you guys brought that one up. I didn't even think about bringing that one up.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely really like that film. It's a fun one. It's got a lot of tropes in it, but it's also very original in a lot of ways for it to be. It's just unsettling because it's just it's very unsettling. But yeah, it's a good one nonetheless. Definitely a good one. I think the thing with creature features is the fact that they are so easy to be made good or be made bad because there could be a fine line between what makes a good creature feature and what can make one be really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I think playing on like realistic fears is an easy way. You know, like arachnophobia. Like that's probably what instilled my childhood fear of spiders.
Yeah,
you know,
same here, dude.
Like,
I saw
that movie
way too young.
Yeah, same. I saw that way too young, and I saw Eight-Legged Freaks in the theaters, and like that's a fucking comedy, and that scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
So like, fuck, you know.
I didn't see Eight-Legged Freaks up until this year. Actually, I finally watched it. I've had it on tape for like 3 years now, and just was like, yeah, it's a David Arquette comedy. I'm not gonna watch it. But then I started coming around. Like David Arquette's in it.
Yeah.
I kind of went on a David Arquette kick earlier this year after You Can't Kill David Arquette came with that wrestling documentary he did.
Yeah.
I went on a David Arquette kick for a little while there. I'm like, I'm going to watch Eight-Legged Freak. So I did, and I'm like, this is actually a really fun movie. It's pretty cool. It's actually a really good movie. It's good.
Being like 11 or 12 in the theaters, after begging my dad for weeks to take me to go see it, he finally takes me to go see it, and I cried in the theater. I have no shame. I admit it. I cried in the theater. I begged him to get me the fuck out of there. He was so pissed. Large popcorn, large drink, bought the fucking movie ticket, and he's like, what the fuck? So, but yeah, Eight-Legged Freaks was a fucking comedy and scared the shit out of me. I think it was just the part where like the old man sitting in the rocker chair and the fucking huge legs come over the chair.
Yeah, dude.
Bloop, and I'm just
so
like, oh,
good.
Shit. So, but you know, then now you watch it now and you're like, they kind of laugh and they talk. Like the spiders have like, you know, noises they make and shit.
Yeah.
It's a David Arquette comedy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So.
Right here, Marco. Real men cry.
Hey, that's right.
That's true. Right. It's true.
Real men cry.
That's why I'm a real man, because I watch Bridge to Terabithia every year.
There you go. There you go.
I can't. That movie does it. That movie makes me cry, cry, dude. I can't handle that movie. Anyways.
I'm a very easy cry. I can cry, like if I'm invested enough, like with the MCU or Star Wars or anything like that. You can get me to cry. Like the ending of Fast and Furious 7 really hits home for me. Like that is a really beautiful send off. I'm not ashamed to admit I cry.
No, that's a good one.
Like
no, there's definitely been Train to Busan is a very recent movie that made me bawl my eyes out, and I've watched it 3 times. Cried every damn time.
Oh, dude, Train to Busan's crazy.
Yeah, no, man.
And,
like
it's a fucking heartstrings.
Dude, yeah, hardcore, yeah. That's a sad ass movie.
Yeah.
But
I just thought of something. It's not a creature feature, but because Richard Donner passed, should we talk about the Omen? If you want to, I don't mean to like.
That's more of a possession movie, I think, or not possession. It's like is that a creature feature? It's the Antichrist.
So I would say it's a
child. It's the devil. Like that, kill the fucker.
Yeah. Well, true. Very true. I think that's where that fine line comes in, though.
Yeah.
Where it's like possession, because like right now, we were actually talking about this on our show earlier today. Is that right now we're still in the phase of like possession movies and like, you know, because you had like early 2000s, but like early 2010s, you know, with the Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of just like we've been riding that same train, and that's still like major motion picture theater release horror movies to this day. I mean, The Conjuring, you know, shit like that. I'm not saying that those are bad movies by any means, but more or less like we've been riding that train of like possession films for some time now.
Yeah.
And it kind of like I'm waiting for something to change. Exactly. And I'm kind of waiting for it to change, you know, and mix it up a little bit, because it's you know, it's like shit, we need something else other than these like, you know, possession films. But I think that The Omen is a great classic, and while it is a possession film and it is the devil, I think that's where that like that hard line comes in.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like it's kind of like Freddy Krueger. It's like, can you call it a creature feature? Is it hard? You know, I'd say that's one of the toss-ups for sure. But I mean, nonetheless, The Omen, great movie.
Yeah. I think if there's anything we learned from this roundtable was almost anything could have a fighting chance to be a creature feature if you really make your case. Yeah. You know, like, because there's some we talked about that I would have never considered a creature feature. But I think about it now, like the Omen, I would have never thought about as a creature feature before. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, well, it is the Antichrist. That kid is the Antichrist. So does that make him a creature? He's not human.
Right. And he was born that way.
Yeah, and he was born that way. So it's like, it is a creature feature.
All the animals are
Freddy Krueger would have never thought of him as a creature, but he's a supernatural being. Yeah. He's not human, so he's a creature, right? Like, that's a creature feature. So I have learned some stuff today.
Actually,
you're chopping out again, Jadd.
If I put my foot in my mouth, or if I have, can you guys hear me?
Now you're good.
Okay. Also, goalkeeper, if I put my foot in my mouth, or if I've derailed the conversation, I'm sorry about that. That wasn't my intention.
No. You're all good, man. This is a really good show. I had a lot of fun with this.
Me too.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I try to keep this show to about an hour, so we're gonna wrap it up, I think, here.
Yeah.
I would love to do another super show again at some point. Obviously, you guys are more than welcome to come back on if you'd like to at any point.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you guys on. You guys want to plug your stuff again real quick at the end while we have some viewers in here?
It's a pleasure being here.
Cool. Jack, you go first.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So keep in mind. The website is coming. It's Jadd the Film Critic. In case you need to remember how to search it, it's Jadd, Jadd, Jadd the Film Critic. You can find me on Facebook, and the website will be coming soon. So yeah.
Awesome, Caleb.
Yeah.
And for us, like I said, I'm one half of the show, so you can find us on Apple Music, Spotify podcasts, or whatever podcast platform you use. We're on there. All you got to do is search the Tapehead Massacre. We'll pop right up. And make sure you stick around. We do weekly episodes every Tuesday. They come out 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing a giveaway right now. Today's the last day to enter. We're giving away a bunch of goodies. As well as an autographed 11:9 print from Ethan Good from the Child's Play series. Yeah. So,
nice.
And then 10 tapes and some coffee from our sponsor. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the giveaway. We're on Instagram at Tapehead Massacre, and come hang out. We like to have fun. We do live stuff like this every now and then, not too often, but. Listen, brother, I appreciate you having us on. I know my co-host couldn't come on, but he said to make sure to give the thanks on behalf of the entire show. So,
of course.
And thanks for everyone that tuned in, and appreciate you for being here.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Thank you for a
great show. Thanks for another question. Awesome. Thanks for watching, Marco. I really appreciate you, dude. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon, for having us on the show, man.
Of course, absolutely. Chat, you guys have been awesome. Please go follow Jadd on Facebook and stuff. I stand by his reviews. He does really solid reviews. Tapehead Massacre is a very good podcast. Go check it out. I highly recommend it. Good stuff. As for me, you're already on the channel. Just hit that subscribe button. I got more stuff in the works here. You can follow me on Twitter at YTGorekeeper right here. That's my Twitter handle. And that's about it. Also, I'm on Letterboxd. If you guys are on Letterboxd, I don't know if you guys are, but mine's just Gorekeeper on there. I always follow back. I only review horror movies on there. So if you're ever wondering what does Gorekeeper think about this movie? If I've seen it, I've rated it. So go check out my Letterboxd there and subscribe there. And that's all I gotta say. And thanks for joining the show. This is a ton of fun. And we will see you guys next time.